Hi, I'm Nate Tamblyn. I am from Christchurch, and I currently I'm a writer slash co-director on the project SHELFLIFE with Knife Games, which is a small indie studio that me and my friends slash flatmates are a part of. We got started because we were interested in making games, and we heard about the Interactive Development Fund from the Film Commission, and they were looking for narrative-based projects. So we thought, oh, that would be really good. So we started working from there and basically learning everything from scratch because none of us had done any games before. My background is I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts majoring in sculpture, but I am have always wanted to be a writer. I love creating worlds and characters, and I've done a comic in the past, which we kickstarted to self-publish, which is called Nothing Fits, which can be read for full online if people would like to, but it is very old and not as good as stuff that we're working on today with SHELFLIFE. Hopefully we'll have an alpha demo for that done by the end of this year, possibly. And yeah, and I work on this project part-time just because I have to work full-time to pay the rent, but hopefully in the future it will be my full-time job and career to work in games or work as a writer in comics or games. So I'm really inspired by, I love watching TV shows. TV shows are a big inspiration for me. Long form TV shows with characters developing over time. One of my my favorite New Zealand TV show is, of course, Outrageous Fortune. Every year I watch through all 6 seasons and just let it wash over me and think about the characters. And every year I have like a different reaction to it. I love rewatching long form TV shows like that just to really like think about the characters, think about the writing, think about how your perception of things change over time as you get older. Like when I first watched that show, and there's the bit at the end, spoilers, where Pascal and Judd get together. And originally I took that really harshly because it was around the time that my parents divorced, and I was like, oh my God, and having another relationship. But then over time I've sort of like been like, no, they foreshadowed it. It made sense. It made sense for the characters. It's okay. I just sort of, I like, that's sort of like the biggest inspiration for me really is those sorts of things. Visually, I'm really inspired by like also like horror stories as well, short form horror stories in comic or text form. One of my favorite comic artists that does sort of horror stories is M. Carroll, who's a Canadian comic artist and writer, really, really good. I love how so much feeling she gets into the characters when you like might not know their name or their background or anything, and it's just like a couple of pages, but you get so much from just the way she draws it and the way she characterizes them. So that's a big inspiration for me as well. I would tell my younger self and my current self, live more in the moment, stop focusing on the past and the future and obsessing about how you could change things or what you could do in the future, because right now is where things are actually happening and where you have the actual influence over what you can do. So yeah, and stop overthinking things.